Welcome to the Lone Machinist podcast, the podcast where it's just you, your tools, and the work. No team, no backup. I'm Jamie from JSpec Engineering, and every episode we're tackling the highs and lows of flying solo in the machining world.
And I'm Curt from Confounded Machine, here to chat about everything it takes to make it as a one-man show in the shop. From grinding and turning to the struggles of running a one-person operation, we're sharing the stories, the tricks, and the challenges that come with going it alone.
If you're out there in the shop grinding away by yourself, or just thinking about taking a solo plunge, this show's for you.
So throw in your ear protection and let's talk about life behind the machine.
Good morning, Curt. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing on this lovely evening for you?
Yeah, carrying on. Had a longish day, but got stuff done. So,
yeah.
All in all, productive.
Yeah, that's what matters, I suppose.
Yeah, also did a bunch of admin stuff and got some POs that came through, which is always nice.
The truly exciting stuff.
Yes, the truly exciting stuff, considering these are parts that are going to take like 20 hours to machine.
Oh, wow.
Set, and there's 4 sets.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a lot of, doom scrolling time or...
Yeah, well, it's a lot of me sleeping while I get paid for my machine to run. Because I'm going to rough these things out in like the early evening and just leave it to run. Machine can turn off when it's done. Like,
oh, this is the mold work you were kind of briefly alluded to? Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Sorry, just remembered something. I want to add it to the document so I don't forget. Yeah. So anyway, what have you been up to this week?
This week was just a lot of jumping back into standard like pen production because I encountered like a little issue with that little Mech 1 mechanism I was working on. So I decided not to sell any of the ones that I've assembled, which is kind of unfortunate right now because I have a whole wackadoo of them assembled sitting on my desk that could literally just go in the mailbox right now. But I'm not super happy with how it just like every single one of them had to be hand tweaked and adjusted. And I couldn't figure out why. And then I started measuring some parts and I'm like, oh, this is why. Okay, there's just the way I designed it. The tolerances are kind of stupid. So it would benefit from being machined. It's basically how it boils down to. So yeah, like.
So now you're gonna do them out of Delrin.
Yeah, like I'll probably like I'm gonna set up all the machining to do them out of titanium. In them to like save some. Yeah, I'm gonna make a few out of Delrin just to kind of make sure that I got the tool because I want the toolpaths to look how I want them to look. Like I'm sure I can machine it how to the shape, but like I want certain overlaps and cusp heights just to visually look pleasing. So I'll do that in Delrin where it's cheap and fast, and then I can just switch it over to titanium, and then all these and then I'll reuse all the Ultim parts. So I didn't burn a ton of time because most of the time it's just in machining the Ultim. But all the printing is just basically going to probably go in my big box of shame because like it functions, it works just fine, but every single one of them had to be like hand tweaked and adjusted, and I was like, this is so tedious. Like I spent 1,000 years.
Yeah, because those were all resin printed.
Yeah. Sorry, what's that?
They were all resin printed. The pieces.
Yeah, the ends were. Yeah, and like the tolerance was good. It was like plus minus 2 maybe 2,000. And but then you stack 2 of them, and the way I have it, they're kind of sandwiched, and then the parallelism isn't perfect. So, and that's the main issue I had. Like the parallelism is out by 2 thou, and the tolerance is 2 thou, and the other piece is 2 thou. All of a sudden, you have like a 5-6 thou. Yeah, and then it starts to bind up weird, and like I was like, oh, okay, this is what's causing it.
So the most important question, Curt, is when you go to machine them, are you going to put them on a pallet, or are you going to swear at yourself every time you change stock?
Oh no, they're going on a pallet. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, first I'll probably just like I'll make a super rough like just plate to work them on, and then they'll immediately go on a pallet because I would jump off a bridge if I. Oh, it would be not fun. It would be very much. Actually, speaking of that, I was like designing my whole machine because I'm like, okay, figuring out how I'm gonna because I want to machine the pallet. Like I'm gonna put a big base pallet in place so I can put your anchor points on it. But then I also want to be able to take those off to put vices on for like just rough holding work. So I was designing that. And then the machine travel is kind of small. So I'm like, okay, I'll take my 4th off. And then I'll put risers on to machine the sub plate. And then just trying to work it all out in my head how I'm going to do it. So it all, doesn't come
someone
out
with
like
a bigger machine. So
yeah, I just don't want to ship. I want to do it as steel. So I don't want to ship like a 2-inch steel plate across the world.
Do it out of alley. It'll be fun.
Nah, that's for temporary stuff.
Says the block has been in my machine for a year.
That's true.
Yeah, you just machine it down every time it gets a little ruined. Um, yeah, so with regards to printing, last night I decided to print new orifices for my Venturi vacuum generator I built a few years ago. Because
Oh, okay.
when I drilled it, I think it ended up being about a millimeter, the orifice, because that's the smallest drill bit that I could successfully drill it with when I
Hmm.
made the little orificey thing. So last night I quickly designed up comma 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5 orifice little thingies, sent them to the printer, let them print overnight. But obviously it's a little bit chilly now, so my resin's not super thin. Took them out of the printer, put them through my ultrasonic to get as much resin as I could out of these tiny cavities. In a nutshell, the point 5 and point 4 not a problem. The rest were solid. Put the point 4 nozzle orifice into the thing, and nope, no vacuum. Like not even 2 inches of mercury. Because the Venturi, it's got to do with the orifice size on the nozzle and in relation to the other orifice. And
Okay.
obviously, I think I did research back in the day. I can't remember, but I was getting 17 inches of mercury if I positioned the orifice correctly. And the issue I was running into is I was running out of compressed air. So
Mm.
it was fine if your operation was 5 or 10 minutes, but as soon as you went over about 15 minutes, the compressor started to not be able to keep up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this morning I just went and bought a vacuum pump, and now I get 24.5 inches of mercury, and it
Nice.
also only pulls 250 watts.
Oh, sick. Okay. Yeah.
Why would I run my compressor if I could do it with 250 watts? Like, let's be realistic.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been
Nice.
running vacuum cuck all day.
Nice. That's yeah. I don't know. There's so many times I would like a vacuum fixture, or just like,
Yeah,
I should totally
I'm
go
gonna
that
build
way.
a pallet. I'm literally gonna build
Yeah.
myself like a 300 by 150 millimeter pallet. That is just for vacuum work holding. When I want to do something dumb, I can just throw it on there and try it. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
super quick and easy. So I'll probably machine one up next week or later this week because
Nice.
we've been
So,
driving the
so I
struggle
assume that
bus.
I assume that vacuum pump, like soon as like if you breach, you're hosed. Like,
No, surprisingly not. It's 4 CFM.
oh wow, okay. I thought it'd be yeah,
Yeah,
like point
and
five CFM or something.
no, it's if I've got a Y piece. So the vacuum runs over the top of my machine over to where I put the vacuum pump.
Hmm.
It comes in there. There's a Y piece that goes to the vacuum chuck on the machine, and then to a bypass valve, so just that vents to atmosphere, and to the pressure gauge. I can
Okay.
open that, and I still have 15 inches of mercury.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's good.
it's
That's
insane.
nice.
Like, it's way better than I
Yeah.
thought. And also, was a whopping $135.
Wow.
Yeah, cheap as beans. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
went and bought one this morning quickly so that I could get this job going. Because I made the vacuum chuck on the weekend, and then we had
Mhm.
to go move stuff out of my aunt's apartments and whatnot on Sunday, so I couldn't work. So then this morning went and I was like messing with the orifices, and I'm like, let's just go buy a vacuum pump quickly. Went and bought a vacuum
Sure.
pump, and yeah, it literally ran all day
Nice.
as I was
Yeah.
making stinky freaking shavings because Tufnell stinks. Yeah, it's I think it's a phenolic resin with paper. It's basically rich light, but it
Oh, okay.
smells
Okay.
when you machine it. But yeah,
Oh.
did all the op ones. Now tomorrow, it's the one is on the machine now. So I basically made the vacuum chuck. Then I put another fixture on top of that, vacuumed it down, machined it, bolted it down, so I don't have to have the vacuum, but I'll probably just run it to be on the
Mm.
safe side. And then the parts drop in with stupid sized dowels that I had to make. Um, Gets bolted down. I machine all the counterbores, then drop in custom made washers that also have a locating spigot so that all the parts are located in relation to the fixture. Then pull out the other clamping bolts, and then turn everything into dust. And spend about 4 hours surfacing these parts.
Oh wow.
So
Are you
my calculations, my YOLO calculations, pretty much work out exactly, including 2 hours of cleaning, of machine cleaning time that I'm charging them for.
cutting it dry or are you cutting it with coolant?
Moist, fucking wet.
Moist.
I want yeah, wet. I want sludge in the back rather than dust in my bearings.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I agree
So
with that.
I'm just
Yeah.
sending coolants. I've got extra filtration at the back. As soon as those parts are done tomorrow, out comes Monica, and Monica can suck to her heart's content, and gonna
Nice.
suck that entire tank out and run it through a filter again. And then
Cool.
This is the first set of parts of 4 sets of parts. They want to do a
Oh
test
wow.
assembly of the first ones to make sure everything's okay. That way we're only scrapping one set if there's a design oversight or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so,
Oh.
and that's all got to be done in the next very short term. And then the mold stuff all has to be done by the end of July.
Ooh. Well, you're gonna have
Yeah,
lots of long
lots.
cycles running.
Yeah, lots of let the machine do its thing. I'm thinking of buying some PCD ball noses because they want these
Mm.
molds as smooth as possible. And we did a test last week when the guy was here. I grabbed the pallets I made for those stupid mag bases that had all the operations. On one of those, I
Mm.
surfaced the pocket. So I grabbed a piece of 400 grit, rubbed it quickly, 220 grit, not 220, 1,200 grit, smooth. Like you put paint, it's
Nice.
going to come off smooth. So they're going to be able to polish their molds up really quickly. But if I can give it to them glossy, I may as well give it to them glossy.
Yeah. What's the material that the molds are out of?
Just 6082, nothing fancy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they don't feel the need that they need 7075. I'm like, I
Mm.
really don't care. I'll remachine them for them. I don't mind.
Mm.
So yeah, but yeah, it's 2 halves and then a piece that slots in from the end that matches the aerofoil, and yeah, it's a whole thing. But at least Roger did a good job of designing it. And
Mm.
there's only one set of features that are really really annoying. So they're doing
Mm.
a integrated hinge line. So the top of the wing is smooth, the bottom's got this freaking ridge, but they need a sharp corner on the bottom. So, and I can't obviously tilt the whole
Mm.
thing because I don't have a trunnion. Um, so that whole thing has to be surfaced with the 1 millimeter ball mill. So it's going to
Oh, well,
takes like an hour and a half or 2 hours to just surface that. After I've surfaced it already, just come in
right.
and nibble out the corners. So I need to still play around a little bit with the tool parts there, but I've got 2 weeks before I actually need to get cracking on that. So I'm waiting. I should get payment for that tomorrow of the deposit. Then it's order material, order drill bushes, order some DC holders, and order some PCD end mills.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah,
they should work real nice in basically
yeah.
aluminum then. So yeah.
My ER collets work. I've just got to tap the tool in when I change it, and every
Yeah.
mold is going to be getting a new tool unless I go to PCD. Then one tool will do everything. But
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to drive the struggle bus if I can avoid it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I get that.
not try
I
avoid
get that.
driving it. So yeah, I assume you read our topics before you
Yeah.
typed yours in.
I 100% read yours and then started typing mine. So
Yeah.
I feel like we play the same
So
game sometimes.
yeah, no, we optimized one of our regular processes. We blanked off 1,000 parts in the MCO, so we cut the bar down. So I had 34 pieces of bar. I put a bunch of hose clamps on it, and then put in the bandsaw and cut all 34 bars at once
Mhm.
to half a meter. Then they get loaded into the MCO, and it used to be like a 2 or 3 minute operation to just blank these things off. I then got in there and did some slight optimizations. So instead of a tool change, we now use the parting blade as the bump stop. So we come right up to the part, unclamp, feed it, clamp again. I know what the drawback roughly is. I need the part to be within like half a millimeter in length. And then
Okay. Yeah.
go up, start the spindle, come in, groove chamfer or do a chamfer part off. And then the spindle stops. I drive a little further forward and feed the next one. So
Nice.
we went, yeah, it was literally 1:30 per bar, including reloading it. So Danica got to
Nice.
stand there for a while and load bars. It was great. But yeah, blanked off 1,000 of those in an afternoon. But yeah, optimized it to the point that you can do nothing else because it's such a short cycle
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, a little bit annoying. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a bar feeder, so or a full length bar feeder. I've only can do half meter bars, so it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel the pain in that. Sometimes it's like, I want to make this less efficient just so I have some time to go do something because it's just
Yeah,
like, or else I'm just sitting here staring into space or just listening to a podcast until I forget something because it's just so tedious. You're just like, this is the worst kind
yeah,
of work.
yeah. We're doing a similar job blanking parts currently. And then some smart dick did the maths wrong. So we had exactly the right number of pieces, and then Danica forgot to push. She pushed cycle start, then clamp instead of clamp, then cycle start. Because normally I just put
Yeah.
a code in to clamp it, but we need blanking the parts using a gauge, and I need it to be touching the gauge once it's clamped. So if it moves back at all, the cycle needs to not start. So it's a manual clamping operation. and pushed the wrong order, and then proceeded to ram my tool into a bar that wasn't really spinning, and put a burr in my collet. So I had to pull the collet out and diamond paste on a brass rod and just hone it out a little bit. But sorted out, running again. Just annoying that I'd accidentally miscalculated and ordered exactly the right amount of material. But it's one of those things like we get 4 parts out of a 500mm length. I'm going to probably cut them now to like 550, and then I end up with an off-cut that I can get another 1 or 2 parts out of. Not that it really makes a freaking difference, but I will try and be a little more efficient. That's the next couple of days production there for that machine. But
fun.
Lots of fun.
You're switching. Looks. Go ahead.
No. Carry on.
I'd say it looks like you're switching into anchor point production as well.
Yeah, so anchor point production has officially started. Op ones on the bodies are done, and then I did them quickly because I had some time to kill. I'm like, just let it run, and then that's done. Like I need to program some stuff. May as well have the roboting, and then now obviously I'm set up for the vacuum work. As soon as that's done, one of the vases will go back in so that I can machine the anchor point fixture, because I kind of want to try get it to anodize this week still. The bodies, I want to try get I've got the material for the hardened pads, so I want to try get those off to heat treat this week as well, because those are the only 2 external real things. Everything else, the material hits the next day, all the parts are done. It's not like it's super like delayed. We are running out of month now, so I've got to make a plan for some pull studs and whatnot, so that might delay the batch 2, but it is what it is. I've been trying to roll it with self-funding and whatnot, and it turns out it's a bit challenging when your customers are having lead-filled shoes. It's just been a mild frustration over the last few weeks. Like I actually messaged one of my customers on Friday. I'm like, hey, you gave me an order like 3 weeks ago. I haven't received a PO. I haven't received payment. What's going on? And the guy's like, oh, it was meant to be done last week already. I'm like, it was meant to be done 2 weeks ago, but sure. And then he phoned their finance department. Like, oh no, it's been loaded for this week Friday. I'm like, sweet. When the money comes through, I'll get your material and stuff on order, and beginning of July, I'll try and knock it out for you.
Right,
Like, what the hell, guys? It's like literally going on a month now since they were meant to, or since they placed the order. And I'm not doing anything until they pay. Like, I will do nothing. I don't trust that they will pay me if I won't even let them pay me a deposit. It's like, you pay up front, in full. I don't care, because I've heard some stories of them not paying, so I'm not willing to risk it.
No, exactly. It's especially if it's like a big company. Like that's what always made me laugh. Is like giant company paying like small garage company. It's like, what, you don't have the bandwidth for a few $1,000? You want me to float you? And I get it. Like it financially makes sense in their books to squeeze anybody they can, but it's just like, come on, guys.
My tolerance for that shit is very, very low.
Yeah, fair.
But
totally
like
fair.
I printed another 10 of those enclosures on the resin printers over the weekend. Got a message on Friday night. Could you print another 10? Our CEO's going to China this week and he wants to take samples. I'm like, no problem. And ran it on Saturday and Sunday and done. Like, it's really, I've got 2 printers. It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
They need to go over there behind me. But I need to build a whole freaking fume hood for them, because otherwise the whole upstairs here is going to stink of resin. Yeah. So, fume hood and permanent extractor fan. Just sucking that shit into my roof to poison anything that tries to live in there.
That works. Yeah,
100%.
Better than poisoning yourself. Yeah.
There's a freaking rat or something living in the tree outside my house, and it's going to get shot. My mother-in-law came running into the workshop. There's a rat in the tree. I'm like, good for the rat. I'm busy.
It's Africa. Can't you just let like one of your giant big, like you sent me that picture of a lion in your grocery store?
Apparently that was AI generated. I'm like, it's not out of ordinary for shit here. Like, I honestly wouldn't even be surprised. Like, didn't even occur to me that it might be AI generated, because it's kind of shit that happens here.
Right.
Some knob forgets to lock the gate at the zoo, and then we've got a lion on the loose. I mean, there was a freaking lion on the loose a while ago. It's really not out of the ordinary. Some moron at the zoo didn't lock the door.
Yeah, no, not around here.
I have a fusion-related question for you and the audience. Has
Oh,
anyone else noticed that opening NC programs takes for fucking ever in Fusion lately? Like if you've posted out and you want to go select, like if you double click on NC program to go and
okay,
edit, like,
yeah.
yeah, takes for fucking ever to open.
Oh, yeah, there is a little bit of a lag on that one. Yeah, let me try
Yeah,
another one
it's
here. I have it open right now.
infuriating.
Yeah, there's more lag for
Yeah,
sure. It's
yeah.
still pretty quick here, but yeah,
If it ain't broke, fix it till it is, Fusion.
it is a little slower for sure.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
infuriating because I do a lot of stuff where I'll want to just post, I want to change which jobs have been posted. Like today, I was
Yeah.
running a fixture, and then I want to rerun this op or rerun that op because it's a one off. So, yeah, I was getting very, very, very annoyed with it today.
Yeah, no, I love NC programs. I fought
Oh,
NC
it's the
programs for the
greatest.
longest time. I was like,
So
I'm
did I.
never going to use these, and then I started using them. And I'm like, I'm never not going to use
Yeah,
these.
that seems to be a
So
very common thing that
totally,
people hate
yeah,
it until they use it. But I
yeah,
love it. Like, it's great. I
yep,
deleted a bunch the other day because I had a whole bunch of stuff, like old NC program. I'm like, nope, just highlight all, delete, and start afresh.
yeah.
Like,
I
I
use
actually
it to
should
do
to do.
as I use it to do dumb stuff like to jump between tons of different setups and be like, I want
Yeah,
to pick a little bit of code off this one and then run this part and then go back to it. Like, so it's nice
yeah,
to be able to
100%.
set them off.
So
Yeah.
I actually want to get into the habit now of purging my anchor point folder on my NAS every time I run another batch. So I'm forced to output new code straight from
Mm,
Fusion that any changes I know have been pushed. I'm not running old code, which is the way
yeah.
you should do it, allegedly. This is the way I was taught to do the wire cutter, repost every time. But yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
seems like extra schlep.
I see how there's benefits to that. Like especially looking at some of my lathe code now that I'm moving a lot of it. It's finally going into the 2025 folder, even though it's been 2025 for like half a
Nice.
year. This is
Yeah,
because same thing. I'm like, okay, I'm like, I've ran this code. I know I've ran this code for like a year. I'm like, I have no idea how to repost it if I ever need to. There's so many
yeah,
edits to it. I'm like, if this like I have 9 copies of it, but I'm like, if it goes away, like I am
yeah.
so hosed. So
You're
now I'm
back
like,
to
you know what?
square one. Yeah,
Totally. So I'm like, let's post out of Fusion and at least have it, even if I have to do some edits, if it's 95% there, like if something blows up, I can just repost it and be
yeah,
pretty much like up and running in, within an hour or something like that, as opposed to being like, okay, well, I'm hosed. Like I guess I'll start, selling hand knitted doilies because like it's going to take me years to figure out where the hell I was last. So I was like, that's a bad idea.
yeah. No, having stuff that's that. I need to actually go through the MCO's desktop because I just dump all the code I'm running on the desktop there because it's not actually
Mm,
on the NAS. Um,
right.
because the Wi-Fi on the Pi is sketchy because it's in a metal box. Who would have guessed?
Yeah.
Um, so that I just have a flash drive on. So only machine I actually use a flash drive on. Plug the flash drive in, copy the file over because if you leave it plugged in, the Raspberry Pi OS shits itself after a few hours.
Oh,
And I've
okay.
deduced that when the flash drive isn't plugged in, it happens far less. So plug in, transfer over, take flash drive out, and then it's more stable. But yeah, my desktop on there is a whoring mess. It's just there's all different production stuff. I need to just go through and put it in folders. But I mean, that machine
Yeah.
gets turned on, run, turned off. I don't really sit fondling it at any time. But yeah, I ran everything except the slow EO today.
Hmm.
I had to make some stupid little pins, so I just spun up Bertha and quickly
Mhm.
made some little locating pins on Bertha. And then, MCO ran production and LK ran production all day.
Sick.
But yeah, tough little stinks.
Nice.
That's the gist of it. Ugh.
I'm surprised you can still smell it under the coolant, but
No, it smells. I'm pretty sure
ugh,
it's a phenolic type resin.
yeah,
Like,
gross.
yeah. And then because I don't want to use my nice aluminium face well. I'm using my 50 millimeter steel one that's configured for steel. But the
Mm.
inserts aren't super sharp. So you've got to do
Okay.
your facing pass and then do your facing pass again
Right.
because
Yeah.
there's actually like vertical tool deflection. But yeah,
Right.
I also discovered that the Z-axis on my machine stretches when it warms up.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How much does it
So
stretch by?
30 or 40 microns.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah. No, not a shitload,
enough.
like under
Yeah.
2/10, under
Yeah.
2,000, right? I noticed this because I touched a tool off before I shut down in the afternoon and then touched that
Mm.
same tool off in the morning. And I'm like, look, there's like 30 microns difference. So,
Mm.
yeah, basically what I do now is if I'm running anything that's height critical, I'll just touch off all the tools related to it in a row. And then I know they're at least coplanar to each other.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my solution now. I still need to sort out the quick removal probe base thing. I have a plan. It entails me making some custom press tools, but that's fine. That's not difficult. I'm pretty good at that actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some stainless steel sheets laser cut, and then they'll go into the press tool, hit them with the 3-ton, 1-ton arbor press, to just dimple in some features so that it's got a nice positive latching click when you slide the latching little plate. So that's mulling around in my brain. Hasn't been put in CAD yet, but it needs to go into CAD in the next like week or two, because when the more toughness stuff comes around, I want that to be an easy process to take my probe in and out, because I'm literally machining the entire envelope. Like today I had to change from a 2D adaptive. I was machining some little pockets for finger grips on a plate that is the 700 millimeters wide, and my machine's 710. So the lead-in was giving me shit. So I ended up drawing a box 710 by like 300, and then told it to do a 3D adaptive, and told it to constrain itself within the box so that it wouldn't be stupid.
Right. Yeah.
Running at the limits of your machine is not super fun. Works pretty well though, I must say. Like as far as this whole job's gone, it's gone pretty well.
Oh, that's good.
We'll see tomorrow when I run the second ops, but I have confidence. No, like making all the fixtures and stuff was a little bit scary, but yeah, it's done now. And they got hit with a bunch of NRE. We'll see now in the next set of parts whether I can reuse the second op fixture or if I have to make more second op fixtures. But that's fine. I have the vacuum chuck. That was the big thing. It's getting the vacuum chuck sorted out, and that whole endeavor put into the machine was the big challenge. So that's now dealt with. Nice. So cheap carbide, what? Side cutters. Oh, those. Okay. I thought they were shitty animals, but yeah.
No, so I bought those. I talked about it last week. I bought those because I was looking for carbide side cutters, and I found a pair that were inexpensive because all the other pairs were like $200-300, and I was like, okay, let's try this whatever $40 pair out, see how they work. And they had carbide edges on them, but they were really rounded. So as soon as the teeth came closed, they just wanted to like just fold like past each other, kind of like scissors, as opposed to just like meeting up perfectly. So I was like, okay, well, it was just smushing wire, and I was like, well, it's not denting the carbide because it's super round, but it's also not cutting. So I'm like, I'm gonna return these anyways. They're terrible. So I'm like, I'm gonna try sharpening them. Are you still there? I think I lost video on you, Jamie. Am I talking to myself now?
Good. Okay, and after that magical technical difficulty, we're back. This is going to be very interesting. We don't know where Danica's going to cut it and where she's going to stitch it back together. So, yeah, don't know what happened. But yeah, anyway, since we're back, let's quickly shout out our Patreons. We got a new Patreon this week. Whoa. I've got to figure out how to pronounce this. Cromulent Knife Company, I believe. Cromulent Knife Company. Thank you for joining. If I got it wrong, please let me know, and I'll happily fix the pronunciation there. And also thank you to our top tier Patreons, Jake from Benchmark 20 and Luke from Fabtastic. Luke did reach out as well. He says he added all the chamfers himself. He also added extra blocks to that machine because there weren't enough linear blocks.
Okay.
Yeah, so thought I'd just let you know about that. I think we might need to get him onto the after show at some point.
I'd love to pick his brain for sure.
Yeah, I think that'll be really sweet. Anyway, so we have a Patreon if you want to support the show. You can also check out the website, thelonemachinist.com. There's a companion guide for all the fun and creative words that I like to use, as well as a link to the merch store for the podcast where you can pick up some fancy merch like Curt is wearing, I believe. He's got two of the hoodies. And he's also got some other fancy shirts that my lovely wife, Danica, has designed. So yeah, you can check those out on thelonemachinists.com. Anyway, yes, tell me about how your foaming coolant is not because of the coolant, it's because of you.
Yeah, well, basically, I was having issues as soon as I started cutting the Ultim. I noticed I had coolant foaming, and like nothing excessive. The two little trays in the back of my machine, and I have paper filters, 80 micron paper below that to catch most of the junk. Yeah. And it was just after 20 minutes, they'd be foamy, like a nice bath. And I was like, if this gets any worse, I'm gonna have problems. But like as it is right now, we're okay. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be smart and I'm gonna preemptively reach out to my folks that sold me the coolant. I was like, hey, I'm having foaming issues. I don't know if it's I'm cutting plastic, basically high speed spindle spinning away. If you have a defoamer, let me know. And they basically replied back with, you're using like Castrol MB50. There is no defoamer. You do not need a defoamer. The problem is you. I was like, all right then. I kind of, okay, that sounds fantastic. So I basically, they said, give us all the details of what you're running. And like, I pretty meticulous about how I keep my coolant. So I gave them all the specs and I basically said, you know, it's brand new, it's clean. I keep it filtered. I top it off with RO. I just monitor the bricks. Like I keep everything in check, skim it. And they said it's probably due to the fact that you're flowing a ton of flood. And with tiny chips, they said, especially as it starts building up in the trays, they're like, just dump them earlier. Because they said it's just not draining back into the sump, especially if you have a small sump, which my machine does. It's only like whatever 80 liters, so it's not a lot of volume. So basically they said just throttle back your coolant when you're doing the plastic, and you shouldn't have issues. And I haven't done much more plastic after that. I did clean out I clean out my filters like every day or so. So I clean them out, and it's not really an issue. But yeah, it's like, no, the problem is you. The problem is not me. So it's like, and I've been super impressed with that MB50. Like it's fantastic.
I actually just watched a video about it, the Practical Machinist video about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I was having foaming today because I'm running a face mill at 4,500 RPM and spraying coolant directly at it for 15 minutes at a time. Like it's going to foam. So I threw in a bunch of defoamer because I have defoamer for my coolant because my guys are cool. But also they said to me the small aluminium shavings and the plastic shavings will pull the defoamer out of your coolant because the defoamer clings to those better than big chips. So I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm almost out of defoamer. I'll harass the guy for some more. He said it should last me till August. We're going to be a little bit short on that, but also I think the toughness is not helping the situation with the foaming because it's also again blocking my filters going back into the tank on purpose. I put extra filters because I don't want that shit in my tank. And then also the first time I foamed, like, what is your coolant level? Because if it's not going back into the tank fast enough and your pump's cavitating, that really doesn't help the situation.
Yeah, exactly. Whips it. That's what they asked me too, because I specifically said, I'm like, I've heard that like small plastic chips can strip out the defoamer from the coolant. Like, and I tried it. Like I added just a little bit of like actual like coolant concentrate to the mix to see if that would change it, and just really no change. So I was like, I wonder if it. And they basically said like, no, that's not a problem. It's like, okay, well, I mean, it's once again, it's not an issue that's stopping production or anything. It's just one of those things where I'm like, that's a lot more foam than I'm used to seeing. I don't know. Guess I'll just keep plugging away.
I've got Roger. I'm trying to get him to come visit me so that we can 3D scan the back of my machine because I'm lazy and I don't want to draw it by hand. I want to 3D scan it. Basically with the coolant tank in, but one of the filters removed so that I can have a sheet metal duct made that ducts both return channels to a center point that I can put a band filter in for this toughness stuff that I can just constantly be flowing the shit into a bucket and not have to deal with the clogged return line.
Yeah. I know. I was thinking that too. I was like, I can make kind of cranky, like little paper filters where I could just, go back or put them on a little step or something and just crank them every half hour. But I'm like, I'm not doing enough volume in Altum to worry about that right now.
has something like that on his.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And he hasn't shared it, and it's really frustrating because I want to build one, and I don't. Yeah. I'll end up probably just engineering my own one, but like I would really like to know what he ended up going or Kai ended up getting it working. Because he was running Richlight, which is the same as Tufnell, paper and epoxy.
Totally. Yeah.
So, like he did that for the same reasons I need it for. But yeah, I'm going to probably just make a duct that comes to the center because I can't go sideways out of my machine. So then what I'll do is I'll have a duct to the center and then I'll just have a little chip conveyor I roll in that just pumps shit out into a bucket. Yeah. Because if this is going to go into production, it's going to be pretty much a week of my month every month, which would be great. Just horrible but great.
Well, that's a nice thing about like a coolant machine, like my lathe for instance. Like when I have to like work with it, like I don't want to move the chips out of it because if any oil I move out, like oil's valuable, like it's expensive. Coolant is by comparison is dirt cheap. So it's
cheap,
like, if I waste a bit of cool, I'm like, I don't give a F, because like it is so inexpensive, where it's like if I lose a liter of oil, it's like that's a lot of cash. So it's like it's kind of fun playing with machines, being like, okay, I can just move these chips over here, and like I don't give a shit. Like it doesn't matter. So
well, I've got a it's a butcher box, it's a butcher crate, and I drilled a whole bunch of holes, like way too many in the bottom of it, and then I've got another one below it. So I dump my shavings in there, let the coolant drip through, and then I throw the coolant back in the machine. Yeah, because coolant is it's not expensive, but it's not cheap either.
Yeah,
I'd buy another 20 litre of concentrate because some smart dick pumped his coolant out into his driveway.
Oh right, yeah, I forgot that. Yeah,
again,
lubricated your driveway. You did it again?
It did it again.
It did it again. Okay.
Yeah, it started foaming or something and got an airlock. I don't know. I can't remember. I was a little bit annoyed. I was in the workshop when it happened, and I looked around the corner. I'm like, "What the fuck's that?" And then, went and dealt with it.
Oh.
So then I ended up taking my air gun and blowing it through the return line to make sure there was fuck all in it, instead of just poking it with the little coat hanger. I was like, "Fucking airline." Yeah, blasted that thing clean. So I need to put a secondary overflow on that because it wasn't fun. But my floor's nice and shiny.
Exactly. Yeah, nothing will stick to it anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, until the coolant evaporates nicely, and then it's sticky as hell.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not fun. So I'm gonna clean my machine up tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully I'll be done with this tough little job tomorrow. My plan is tomorrow morning get cracking with it. I think I have enough bolts to bolt it down. If not, I guess John and I are going on a drive. You can be in my headphones while I drive to go buy bolts, because tomorrow morning is Chat to John Day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
fun.
Lots and lots of fun.
Yeah.
But it's all of our topics, Curt. How did we blow through all of them?
Because we got stopped halfway through, and then I ranted into the ether, which probably just got sent to the ether, or maybe you've listened to it. I don't know. We don't even know what this podcast.
It did actually sync. I waited for it to sync before. It said you had some initializing issue.
Well, we'll see where Danica cuts it. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's see if I can break the internet again by going to my phone, because that's what I was on my phone when I did that last time. Okay, no one gave us questions. No one loves us.
Oh, I had some questions from the last run that I was just foolish and didn't look it up.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, to anybody, before we get to the questions, to anybody who listens to us and not Within Tolerance, go listen to Within Tolerance with John Sanders. It was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that podcast today. Like, I might even listen to it tomorrow again. It was that good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. They go over his backstory and whatnot. Thoroughly, thoroughly entertaining. So, we'll see if there's nothing to listen to. Well, there's something to listen to tomorrow. It's called The Lone Machinists. But if I run out of stuff to listen to, I'm going to re-listen to it tomorrow. Oh, okay, and then in case my review of my headphones gets cut out by my wife, which I think I'm going to ask her to actually do. I got my headphones this last week. The Earmor, I don't know how to pronounce it. The C51s. They're the giant cans that look super cool and have boom mic. So my audio isn't entirely horrible while I'm in the workshop. They also have 5 levels of noise cancelling that if you just push the button and not or hold it, they work really well. Like, I'm actually thoroughly enjoying wearing them now. I stretch the headband a bit so they're comfortable. And I listened with them, when was it? It must have been Saturday, all day Saturday, to the point that my phone was on like 3% when I came back in. They were still on like 60% battery.
Oh, nice.
Also 800 milliamp hour battery, not 8,000.
Okay.
Listing. The packaging says 800, the listing says 8,000.
Okay.
Like a small difference. They also recharge in like 4 hours, which is great. Like they're plugged in now. I didn't want them to run out tomorrow, so I just put them on charge. But super, super comfortable. And when you turn the noise cancelling, when you put them on without the noise cancelling, it cuts the world out. And then you enable, active hearing mode or some shit. Some Chinese lady tells you what it is. And then it's got 5 settings there, and then you go Bluetooth, and it turns on the Bluetooth mode and then connects to the phone and whatnot. But I'm thoroughly, thoroughly enjoying them. And they're green, which is awesome.
Nice. That helps.
It does. It makes me feel happy.
I think all those headphones use probably the same recording of like Bluetooth connected.
No, this one's different. This one's
Oh
not the
no!
normal one. This one's way more
No.
Asian.
Oh
Way
no!
more Asian. Yeah. No, my other ones, mine, Danica's, my Bluetooth speakers have all used the same voice. These ones are
Right. Yeah.
just slightly different.
Mm,
Yeah.
cool.
Anyway, so what questions did you get, Kurt?
One of them was just it basically kind of will gloss over it because I've answered it in the it's just related to pen stuff. So basically what inspired me to get into pen machining, and I just kind of fell into it. So that's basically the answer on that. I answered that one in detail on like the Reddit AMA thing on my media page. So if you're so into it, but either way, thanks for the question. And then Aaron Edwards 09. This was like last week, by the way. So I'm sorry for not getting to it. I just totally forgot that I posted this up. Said thoughts, and I'm sure we kind of could both weigh into on this one a little bit because I think it's both kind of on our wish list. Is thoughts on ROI of a Swiss lathe, specifically thinking for pens, but for just in general as well. And yeah, of course I want a Swiss lathe. They're just heinously expensive unless you want like a super. I mean, clapped out lathe in Swiss world is a little bit different because there's bathed in oil and they usually run for like millions of hours. So you typically can buy a used Swiss lathe and it still is pretty damn good. Yeah, I absolutely want one.
Someone deleted the parameters.
If someone deletes the parameters, yeah, it's a death sentence. So I've learned because there's one still sitting like it's 1,500 kilometers away from me, and I think now the price. I bet you if I went there and just said I will pay for rigging, they'd be like, get it out of here. But it's a paperweight. It's totally useless. It's on R16 Citizen or something like that. Like I forgot what series.
Linux CNC retrofit. Come on, Kurt.
Dude, I would, but it's like.
It's not worth the time. No, it's not worth the time.
Like, it's just gonna be. I'm just gonna spend so much time into it, and
then
I'll spend tens of thousands of dollars on it. Just so
in time. Yeah.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Isn't it sad how we're being responsible and not doing these projects?
Yeah, I mean, all I would need is a small push.
I'm not going to be the one to push you to do that because
no,
that's just that's a pit where time and money go to die.
Yeah. So, but
like if you
Swiss
get
lathe, I definitely want one.
Oh, 100%. I'd love one. If I had a customer who could place a bloody order, it would be great because their parts would be lovely on a Swiss lathe, except they're a bunch of clowns that don't place orders. I think someone from there listens to this podcast. Place orders.
Well, and for my world, it's kind of like the quote unquote cheap way to get like a sub spindle lathe in a small form factor. Because like if you want to buy like a Y-axis sub spindle lathe, which is essentially what a Swiss is, they're huge and they're rather spendy, and they're not like they're built to turn big parts. So if you're just using it to turn sub half-inch parts, like you're just wasting a ton of volume and rigidity for just itty bitty parts. So
that is the most frustrating thing to me with how much was that machine? So I was thinking I saw a lathe that I want, and it's like $30,000. It's a Sino lathe. It's a small, but small in lathe world means you can swing 300 millimeters because everyone wants to do giant shit. It was a C-axis live tool lathe, which for what I needed for would be perfect. It's also the same size as Bertha because getting a small lathe is not an easy feat. I don't want to do anything over 100 millimeters, but finding a lathe that can only do up to 100 mils is not common. We're in the weird space where we have a small workshop and want small machines, whereas everyone else wants giant machines.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I can put two Swisses in here without troubles, but I couldn't put like two Y-axis, even like small like Y-axis ST 10 Hosses. Like they would be crammed to get two of them in here.
The other thing there is your spindle horsepower. Like you look at one of the Tornos machines, they like 3 kilowatts, 2-3 kilowatts on the spindle, not like 50 horsepower. You don't need 50 horsepower if you're only making small things. Like I had one of my ex-colleagues here today. We now looking. He's tangent time. So where I used to work, they sold this company some machines. The machines didn't do what they were supposed to, so they scrapped them, and now they're making their own machine to do this thing. Seems kind of right, like ship things that are unfinished and don't deliver. They got 2 pneumatic spindles that they're trying to drill holes into cast iron with. So he was here today. I'm like, tell him I've got a 400 watt servo motor sitting here. Tell him 2,000 Rand. We'll put together a demo for them, prove it works, and then 12 grand, 2 servos. We're talking in rands here, so it's like 12 grand, $600. 2 600 watt servos, ER11 collets on it. They put their 6mm drills in, and they can drill at the right RPM for drilling cast iron. Like they're using carbide drills. So we look at making little drill units. But it's one of those things that if you've got someone in the factory who can sell it, because they're in the workshop in there already, makes life a lot easier than making something and then trying to sell it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
totally.
we're doing all sorts of weird shit now. It's great. I like it. No, never
Fun
boring.
stuff. Yeah, no doubt.
Did you get any other questions there?
No, just a few of those, and I had to go way back in the time machine to find them. So if there's more, I'm sorry. But yeah,
no, it's a problem with the time machine.
I know.
No.
So.
Have you listened to Lean Built yet? From today?
Which? Probably... Oh, not today. No.
Not today's one. Okay. It was also very good.
Okay, good. Well, I'm excited because last week was kind of like a lull for podcasts. So.
Yeah, it was a bit of a lull. Yeah, I listened to the PFG today as well. They were talking about different torque wrenches and whatnot. Also very, very entertaining. I enjoyed that. I saw they were recording last night when I was setting up the 3D prints, and I'm like, I don't feel like dropping in for it live. I prefer listening to it the next day than listening to it live. But forever in Discord.
Yeah, I like to do it time and a half, so I don't typically listen to much live because I don't like listening to people talk slow.
I watched the Slant 3D thing because I don't know if you saw Etsy now.
Yeah.
It depends where you read it with the not allowing 3D printed stuff. They don't. That's actually not what they said, but they don't want people like buying the files off of somebody, posting those same pictures and just flooding the market. So because their whole Slant 3D thing, it's a plugin effectively for Etsy to list 3D printed stuff that it's print on demand basically, and they fulfill. So interesting podcast. But this morning it's like listen time and a half because I can't sit there for 40 minutes. But it's something that's been frustrating me with YouTube is nothing is less than 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like, I get that they're being incentivized to do longer content, but it's like when you've got 10 minutes to kill before you're going somewhere, you can't watch anything on YouTube anymore.
I know. Yeah.
Like on Sunday morning, I had 20 minutes to kill and I couldn't watch anything because I needed to be in the car in 20 minutes. And it's like,
I know. There's a few channels I like that I'll throw them on like as a podcast. Like I'll just ramp them up to whatever, 1.5, 2 times, whatever I can deal with, and then listen. And then if it's something interesting, I'll whip my phone out and just look at it and be like, oh, okay, that's what they're talking about.
That's what I did on the weekend with the WAN show. Listening to it, and then they said something interesting, so get back to it, open up my phone, and that was 4 hours on Saturday that I listened to the WAN show.
Yeah, exactly. So
but that part of the Saturday routine. Because I don't think there was a business of machining this week. They took the week off.
Nope. And then I listened to like Taps and Patience as they come out, just so I don't get spoiled. Like I have access to the earlier ones. I think I do anyways.
So do I. I actually haven't listened to their new one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I open it on Patreon and then I will click the YouTube link so that I can minimize it and listen to it in the background. And then if nothing new is on the podcast player, then I'll listen to it on the podcast player too.
Yeah, I just try to wait till they come out on my player because then same thing. I'll eat too much of my podcasts and then I'm like, well, now I have like a week lull of like where I can just which is fine. It's audiobooks. Like this is the most first world problem in the world. But
I was watching documentaries on the limiting factor the other day.
Okay. I don't know.
It's the submersible they built to do the 5 deepest point in all 5 oceans.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, watching how it was made, like the titanium spheres. Holy cow. Big piece of titanium, mud it through a ring to make a dome, and then the spherosity or the roundness of the dome is within 0.1 of a millimeter.
Wow.
It has to be. It has to be as close to perfect because submarine, if you're out by, I think it's like 1 or 2%, you lose like a shitload of your structural integrity. And that makes sense. That ROV is designed to go up and down in the water column, not really translate, because the idea is you launch in a spot that will get you to where you want to be by the time you hit the bottom. And it went to the bottom of the Marianas Trench. It's been deepest point in all 5 oceans, and then looking for some of the deepest wrecks in the world. So very, very interesting.
Have you seen the there's like a brief kind of like, not how it's made, but it shows you the construction of the James Cameron sub that he made to go to like Challenger Deep as well.
No, I haven't. I did watch
You'll
the
dig
one
that
on
one, I think.
Elvin.
Okay, I don't know.
Elvin has done 5,200 dives since the
Is that
60s.
the man? That's
It's
a robot,
the military one. No, it's the manned one.
Oh, is it?
It's
Okay.
owned by the US military. Yeah, it's done 5,200 dives. Every 5 years it gets
Wow.
rebuilt and slight upgrades and
Wow.
whatnot to keep with the latest tech. But yeah, it's been around since the 60s. Very, very interesting
Wow.
as well. Yeah, I've been on a bit of a
so cool.
documentary deep dive. Then we were watching a thing last night on
No pun.
Hitler's Evil Inner Circle. It's actually really, like, I'm not the biggest fan of World War II and all the shit that went on in Germany, but it's very interesting to see how they rose to power and all the stuff that was going on before they got all, well, I assume they were super evil then, but before all the shit went down, like how they actually got into power was quite interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, like Netflix documentaries.
Yeah, they're
Getting my
addicting
money's worth
for
out
sure.
of them. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I thoroughly enjoy them. Like, I'm not
I
a
like
big
all
fan of true
documentaries,
crime
yeah.
and shit like that. I don't like
Yeah.
war documentaries because it makes me sad. Like, I'd rather not focus on humans being dickheads.
Sure.
So yeah, like, I'd rather like to think that humans are less shit than that. But yeah, the evidence is mounting that we are just that shit.
Yeah, we tend to do that. Yeah.
We are the problem with the planet. But yeah, anyway, I've got a Robot League coming up this week, so I need to still design a robot this week and build said
exciting.
robot. Yeah, finally have some people who are actually going to compete. So we decided to move it to literally I can throw a rock from here to the restaurant just up the road because screw that noise. I'm not driving it around like for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
No, sure.
we'll load it, take it up there. I've spoken to them. We're having it in the parking lot. There's pizzas. It'll be lacquer. And then
Sick.
I need to build some robots so that I can defeat everybody. I'm trying not to just go like full hog machine everything. I'm trying to be competitive and like 3D print some shit so it'll break so they don't.
Right.
I'm trying to sandbag, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, can't buy the servos I need, which is tedious. Oh, also, Roger, when you listen to this, I blame you for this next bit of the conversation. I got sent the plans for a DLG, Curt.
Ooh.
Would you like said plans once we make them ready for laser?
No, not at all. No.
Okay,
I don't want that. No, not in the slightest. That's like putting a big mountain of cocaine in front of a coke addict.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
100%. Where
no, I have my little. I have a little HLG, and yeah, that's no, I'm good.
Come on, come to the DLG side. This is a 1.4 meter DLG. It looks like super easy to build.
Of course it
does. It's called the Orca. ORCA. So yeah, Roger's going to send plans and then I'm going to laser cut them and I'm going to build myself a 1.4 meter DLG again because I haven't had a DLG for a while. I kind of let someone fly it and it got made into pieces.
That is like one of the more, if for RC, that was one of my favorite forms of like RC is just like a sail plane essentially. Yeah. It's just like something you just whip into the air and then just thermal hunt. It's like, it's so relaxing. And then you catch a thermal and it is like the biggest. Yeah. It is so cool to be like, this thing is like 1,000 feet up. I threw it to whatever, 100, 200 feet. Oh, it's cool.
You go sloping and you decide to land because your neck's sore from looking up.
Totally. Yeah.
So the last time I actually properly flew my DLGs must be like 2.5 years ago now. We went, Dave and I drove down to Durban to deliver a machine. We took our DLGs. We flew on the beachfront a bunch of times because you got the nice onshore breeze hitting the dunes. You can soar around there. And then on the way back, we stopped on Van Riemen's Pass, which is you gain like a stupid amount of altitude in a very short span. And we found a spot we could pull over and we flew there for about 45 minutes. And to the point where you could barely see the glider. Like, I think we should descend now because I can barely see it. Because it's just eternal uplift. It was great.
Yeah.
That was a fun. But yeah, that's... so now that I'm making molds and I have a vacuum chuck that can do 700 watt, I'm thinking 1.4 meter DLG out of composite. I also have a vacuum pump so I can bag the wings. But yeah, I'm trying desperately to be a responsible adult and it's hard.
Yeah, see, we'll bitch on the next podcast about not having enough time to do like work and then rant about things like this. Be like, I'm going to build a giant whatever.
Well, something's got to keep us entertained. Like,
oh, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
I'm considering going and running the Tufnell tonight, but I know better than that.
Yeah.
because it's been a long day, and I don't really want to. I don't have spare material, so I don't really want to stuff it up. I'd rather go in there fresh tomorrow morning with 3 cups of coffee in me and
Yeah.
get it going in the morning and go from there, and
Yeah.
hopefully have great success.
It's probably the better chance of that happening
Yeah,
in the morning.
I,
Mhm.
I try to be responsible with shit like that
Yeah.
because Sunday was a ball ache. But anyway, all right,
Cool,
cool.
man.
So, what have you been googling? Let's wrap
I
it
have
up.
been Googling nothing at all podcast related. Just a bunch of I've always wanted a pair of like gymnast rings, like wooden rings.
Okay.
So I went to, I like that kind of exercise. So
Yeah.
I finally went and bought myself a pair. So I was looking at the difference between 28 millimeter and 32 millimeter and so all that stupid jazz, and different kind of straps and ceiling anchor mounts and all kinds of weirdness. So yeah, my
Okay, so
whole
we're gonna have
search
things
history
hanging
is
in the background now.
they're actually, you can't see them. They're behind the
Behind.
mill right here.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, I just try to add a little bit of mass to my little bird-like frame. So I got two little daughters. They're gonna get boyfriends one day. I can't be smaller than their
Yeah, I know.
boyfriends or
You need
girlfriends.
to
Who
be,
knows how the world goes? So,
well, you
but
need
yeah,
to be able to
so
move either of them.
totally, yeah. I got to be a little scarier. So,
Yep.
yeah. Plus, the side benefit of exercise. I've always been big into like running, but that doesn't really do much for.
Yeah,
It's good for the internal organs, but
yeah.
it doesn't do
Doesn't
much
do
for
much
anything
for the
else. So
physique.
yeah, so just a
Yeah.
ton of that kind of health related junk. But how
Okay.
about how about you?
Yeah, Wordle. I'm on 8 days again. Um,
Oh, you're starting that up again. All right, right on.
yes. Trying to buy a server from Microrobotics. I was looking up Talon grips. Was looking up where Portugal was because my mother-in-law and I had arguments at quiz night as to which one of the numbered countries on the map things were. Um, Looking up leak detecting sensors for my home assistant for next to my mill. Wonder
Fair
why.
enough. Yeah.
And then I was looking up MMM USA because I saw a post by Henry
Yep.
Holsters about them.
Yeah, they're going. Yeah, slowing down or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. But anyway, let's not throw fuel on that fire. So yeah, no, that's all I've been. That's all that's in my googling.
Go.
So yeah, where can people find your things and stuff?
You can find my lack of anything to sell at confoundedmachine.com, but you can sign up for the thing, and you've heard me say this 1,000 times. So yeah, all the information's there. Poke around; it should answer most of your questions. And if you're not, send me an email. I love hearing from people. So, how about you, Jamie?
Yeah, you can find me at jspeceng.com or jspec_engineering on Instagram. We've got some anchor points available still, and we've got some more in the works. So if you can't get one in this batch, you'll be able to get one probably second week of July by the looks of it. You can, yeah, there's also on our website, there's a bunch of fancy shirts. There's an ISO tie. Yeah, all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, go check out our website and see if there's anything that piques your interest. Then also you can find the Patreon for the podcast. There's a link on our podcast website, thelonemachinists.com. And yeah, podcast makes the wheel on the bus go round and round. Oh, sorry, Patreon makes the wheels on the bus. Patreon makes the wheels on the podcast go round and round. There we go. Finally got the sentence out.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So, what are you up to today, Curt?
Today, once we finish our little after show, I am going to just run a ton of pen production because it's fairly automated, and I can just let it fly and then do a little bit of finishing so I can get this next little batch of pens sent out. This one I'm excited about because it's the customer. They're, like I said last podcast, they're my commercial customer, and they just give me free reign. They said, build us cool things, just whatever's cool. So I'm just going to do a bunch of fun anodizing, which will give me a bunch of pictures, which will let me post them online, which will let a lot of people message me that because they're not going to be available and people are going to get mad. But hey, you know what? Them's the bricks. So
Yeah,
unfortunately, that's how it has to work. But I'll do more of them than they're going to take. So I will have some extras. So yeah, I'm excited about that. It's kind of a fun week. So
yeah. Okay.
How about you?
Sweet.
How about you? Other than sleeping?
Yeah, I'm gonna snooze and then I'm gonna machine like 6 or 7 or 8 hours of Tufnell parts tomorrow. And then I think while that's running, I might try and get Bertha set up to run the pads for the next batch of anchor points, so those can go off to heat treats this week. I'm desperately trying to get the bodies off to heat treat this week as well, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. I want to make a new fixture for them, so yeah, that'll be top of the queue for
I have
for tomorrow. Yeah.
I have an anchor point question, but we can save it for the after show because it's not all that pertinent.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, come see it in the after show.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please give us a like, subscribe, rate, whatever it is on your specific platform of choice. If you know anybody who you think would enjoy the podcast, please recommend us to them. It's always nice to have more people listening. We actually just passed 3,260 listeners or listens on Zencaster. So yeah, it's growing quite steadily. Like pretty happy with that. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, take care all.